Yeah, that's right. I see the chat. I see y'all rocking. I see y'all coming. Hit that like button as you enter the building. You know what I'm saying? Hit that like button. Show your love. Show your support. You know what I'm saying? This that dope soul. This that new thing. Nobody don't know about it.
Hello, Knick family. Welcome to the Just Knickin' It Weekly Show. I'm your host, Stephanie, a.k.a. Queen, joined by I am Jerrell from the Die Hard Giants Live show. Ajay the villain, Knick Nation. We stole from Knicks Real Talk. Shout out to Divine and shout out to our guy, Geoff. He is out of state or even out of his state of Texas for the memorial of his mom. We all remember that his mother passed away a few months ago. They're having a memorial today. And then next month, they will have another memorial in Texas. So our thoughts and prayers are with Geoff for this extended period of grief.
Yeah, you know he'll be here.
Yeah, you know Geoff. You know Geoff would be here for sure. These are the dog days of the season for me. You know, hopefully the Knicks are still locked in for what they need to do, but for me, it's hard for me to generate energy talking about the same topics. I'm ready for the playoffs to start. So today, I didn't even have a question. So we were late, kind of, talking about what we want to talk about from the panel. We're asking you in the chat. Let us know what you want to talk about. If you have a question, put it in the chat. If you have a topic, put it in the chat. We will talk about that today. But what I got from the panel is Jerrell wants to know, can we even get out of the first round with the inconsistencies that we've shown? Ajay wants to talk about the 2 losses in LA and basically the 3 quarters of poor play in Utah before we finally won the game. We'll do that. And Knick Nation has concerns about Alvarado. Feels like he hasn't really lived up to the hype or what the Knicks thought he would live up to. So we'll talk about that as well. And if we have an opportunity, we'll talk about Tatum's return and how that changes the landscape, if at all, of the Eastern Conference, because Boston was already good. And the question I have, and we may not get to all of this now, right? Can Brunson be effective playing differently? There's a distinct difference in his play, in my opinion, since that Indiana game I think it was after the All-Star break. Might have been right before, but I think it was after the All-Star break. He really hasn't been himself. Is he just in a shooting slump? That's possible. Or is he being asked to play in such a way that's really not him, not playing to his strengths? So we'll talk about that a little bit. But whatever else you want to talk about in the chat, put it there. Jerrell, we're gonna start with you and your topic. You can set it up for us.
Salute to everybody. Ajay, Knicks Nation, Steph. Happy to be here. Salute to the chat. Yeah, man, I think it might be like a gift and a curse for like a fan base of a team that's like a perennial playoff team now. Like all we really do care about is the playoffs and where we're going to end up. A lot of people is either finals or bust, Eastern Conference or bust. If we don't get there, I think this team is going to be completely split up this summer. But for the regular, because of all of that and the weight of all of that, I think we don't care about the regular season. It's almost like it's like a seesaw. We go up and down too much like it's the playoffs. I don't think our fan base is used to rooting for a good team. Like we know we're going to get to the playoffs, but I think just the worry of the seeding and what we're going to do and where we're going to go when we get there, I think a lot of that is what's stressing people out now. Like I'm tired of watching regular season games. Like as much as I know we're going to talk about the last 3 games in the West Coast stretch that we've been under. Played well against Denver, not too well against the LA teams. Like it's not like I didn't care about those losses, but I'm just ready to see who we play in the first round and how we match up. I don't really care that we lost to the Lakers and the Clippers, to be honest. I care about how we play until we get there. But when it comes to the losses, I'm not. I guess I'm just not effective as everybody else is because I'm just ready for the playoffs, and I think a lot of people feel like I do.
Yes.
Mm,
Yes.
true.
Absolutely. You said something about concerned about the salute to you, JJ. Appreciate you. I wrote the question down. Um, can we get past the inconsistencies to get out of the first round? And I
Hmm.
guess the question to you is, having watched this team the entire season, do you think the inconsistencies are to that point that we could lose in the first round?
I think to me it's all about matchups. I mean, don't get me wrong, like the Sixers right now is getting blown out by the Pistons, but the Sixers aren't playing anybody right now. Like all of their best players are hurt. When those players actually come back and say if they are healthy, we ended up playing them in the first round, then it gets a little sketchy the way that we've been playing. Like we played Utah yesterday, like the first three quarters, we act like we didn't want to play. I don't know if it's an energy thing or effort thing, but it's something wrong with this team. And if that continues, like we're Philly ain't gonna play us like we chump. Like they're gonna try to take our heads off, and so is everybody else. Play teams like Orlando, Philly. I think it's gonna be tough if we keep playing like this. Like it's not gonna be easy just to leapfrog everybody and get to the Eastern Conference Finals again. It's not gonna be like last year.
Yeah, that's a fair point. When the Knicks play well and they're playing at their ceiling or close to their ceiling, like we sit here and we're like, wow, this team is really good. And then they'll have another game and we'll be like, what is going on? It's just really maddening. You don't know which team is going to show up.
Right.
And in the playoffs, in a 7-game series, that inconsistency is just not going to fly. Because if you let one game get away, that can change the series. You
Yep. We've
know,
seen that firsthand just last year. One game can ruin everything.
yeah, yeah, um, yeah. Anybody else with thoughts on the first round and the Knicks inconsistencies?
Well, the inconsistencies is, well, hopefully in these next few games, or next 10, 12 games here, that we can clean some of these inconsistencies up. My only worry is that is the coach strong enough to see these? I know he sees the inconsistencies, but is he strong enough to put his stamp on it, to stamp it out, to say, hey, this is, you guys are playing off, and do these guys respect him enough to sacrifice of not doing what they want to do, but doing as the coach is asking them? So I definitely have those points of my
Oh yeah.
concerns, and because right now there's times where you could see where he's frustrated. You can see him call a timeout. You can see sometime they discuss it, and then they come out. They may hold it for a play or two, and then they revert back. Those are the points of where I get my real concerns. Is like as he says, and then as Jerrell says, and then I don't know. I just don't have an answer for that, because it doesn't seem like at times, that he has a real hold on his team to kind of, you know what I mean, to push them toward his will. These guys sometimes seem like they're doing what's on their will. And then that, I think, creates problems. I think that's
But do
like
you
one of
think
the
that's
number
a?
one things
Go ahead. I'm
between
sorry.
like Mikhail. I think Mikhail may think in one way, Brunson may think in another way, how Hart sees it. I don't think that at times, and I think that's where it becomes more Jekyll and Hyde, just because I don't think that these guys are seeing the same things. I don't think their ideology is the same, anymore. And I think that Mikhail, I think he used to like, what I mean? Like, I think Brunson's his boy. I think they're friends. But I think that the growth and maturations that the path that their two careers have taken, I think it's creating a problem, because it just seems like at times, Mikhail just seems like, hey, I'm not into it. I'm not into it. I'm not into it. And he kind of just looks like he goes into a shell or half of himself. So those are the inconsistencies that worry me.
Yeah, we'll definitely talk about Bridges. JJ had a question about Bridges' inconsistencies as well. But do you think the inconsistencies is on the coach or the players? Because I see Mike Brown calling timeouts. I see Mike Brown talking in a press conference about, what the game plan was, even if he doesn't get into specifics, and how the Knicks just did not execute the game plan. So if a team is inconsistent in their execution, like, do you think he doesn't have the ear of the team? I don't know. I don't know how much I could put the team inconsistencies on Mike Brown.
I just don't know if he has their respect enough for them to consistently do and stay focused in what he's asking them to do. Because some of it you could see for ourselves. We know what certain points that he stresses for his offense to run. We know there's certain things that he stresses for his defense to be effective. And there's at times these guys, some of them just seem like, I'm not going to do that. I think every time that Brunson struts that ball up and just gets the ball past half, I think that's another slight to Brown. That's like, hey, I'm really not going to start off with that execution to do as you ask. I think there's things like where the ball, guys get the ball past half and then all of a sudden just pull up and take a shot. I think those are things that Brown don't see as effective running his offense. I think there's other players that also feel that way where, they haven't touched the ball 8, 9, 10 times down. And I think they get lost a little bit. I think for them, it's certain things they feel is ineffective. So it's unfortunate, but there's too many questions. That's what you say. Those are the questions
Yeah. So I think you're right. It could be that they don't respect him, or it could be that he doesn't have the buy-in. But it can also be that he's asking them to play in a way that just doesn't suit them. It's not natural. And so they have to really focus in to do it. And if it's something that's not natural, you're going to get those inconsistencies because it's just not a habit. Now, you can argue that at this point in the season, it should be a habit, right? If you were doing it consistently, it should be a habit. Um, I don't know about the disrespect. I don't know, because they're definitely bought in on the defensive end. They've definitely bought in on the defensive end. I think offensively, I mean, we've talked about this since the season started. Is this roster suited for what Mike Brown wants to do?
that remains
right? And should a coach, tailor the offense to the players, or should he create an offense that he thinks can win, and the players just have to come along? Yeah.
Well, I hope the latter isn't that, because Mike Brown ain't won nothing for me to think that his system is the one that wins championships and not the other way around.
Yeah,
he need to figure out how to get these two all-stars clicking on all cylinders, and Bridges, because obviously I'm talking about Brunson and Cat, but something is broken with this team, obviously.
Yeah, I think Cat is coming around. I think Cat is looking more like himself. They've moved him around, right? Remember, early in the season, he was just at the top of the key, and that was it. Now he's in the box. He's at the top of the key. One time, I almost had a seizure. He took a mid-range shot. I said, "Oh, what? What's going on there?" He's engaged on the defensive end, and the rebounding has remained consistent. So I feel like Cat is finding his stride. Brunson has not. We'll talk about that a little later. Some people feel he's hogging the ball. I feel like he's passing too much. I feel like he's right there at the rim, and he's passing out instead of taking a shot. But Brunson has his own segment. Ajay, anything you want to add about the Knicks' inconsistencies and how that may or may not impact them in the playoffs?
Yeah, there's a lot I want to add.
Okay.
So I hear maybe it's the coach, maybe Mikal and Brunson not friends, not buddies no more. How about the players aren't good enough? They're just not good enough. That's why they're inconsistent. Listen, they're good because that's why they're in the NBA. They're some of the best players in the world. They're in the NBA. But the good players, the great players who do what they do, the championship players, they are consistent in what they do, right? These guys are inconsistent because they're not championship caliber players. Some I don't know when I say they, I don't know who in the team, but there's a weak link in there somewhere, right? And this is why there's a weak link in there somewhere, and the other players are trying to make up for that weak link, and then this is why it's not happening. There's a reason why we come out against Utah yesterday and make Utah look like they're the best. They're Oklahoma City Thunder. Like who? No, that doesn't happen. That doesn't happen to teams with championship aspirations. Like even when you having a bad game, you have 5 guys on a team at all time, right? It's extremely rare that every one of them is having a bad game at the same time. Like the odds of that happening is not very high. I mean, if you look at probability, it's just not going to happen that all 5 guys are. So there's something, I don't know. There's 1 or 2 people on the team that just aren't good enough for what we're trying to do here. Who they are, I don't know. You know, time will tell what the front office thinks, and maybe time will tell us who they are. Like at some point, they're going to get exposed, right? At some point, you're going to be like, all right, this guy's got to come off the team, or we got to get rid of this guy and find somebody else to do what he's doing, or what he can't do, or what we have him in here to do. He's not able to do it. Let's find somebody else to do it. So,
yeah, I mean, you know, if Geoff was here, he would say, I'm not going to get too high when the Knicks win like Denver, and I'm not going to get too low when they stink up the joint like Utah, even though they were able to pull it out. We've seen the Knicks this season close to their ceiling, and we've also seen them a hot mess. And it's just a matter of which team is going to show up in the playoffs. And hopefully it's not this roller coaster of a team, because I think that's going to be an issue. They may get out of the first round, but I doubt if they get out of the second round with this inconsistent play. I do want to shout out D Block. What is that? D Block 755. The Knicks don't play smart ball. They don't stick with what works on a regular basis. They have poor court awareness. They have poor spacing. We have no other offense when they are bricking shots. Well, that is your offense when you are bricking shots. I think maybe you're saying when they're not hitting their threes. You know, what do they do? Yeah. I mean, I think that's somewhat fair. Yeah. Thoughts on that, if any.
No, it's just that the ball, you know, we know this team has a way that they like to play. You know, there's supposedly movement, but it just, for some odd reason, it just doesn't happen on nights. Why? I've been still trying to figure it out, but a lot of times it's, you know, you got guys standing still, you got one moving, you know, you bring somebody else in, they're, you know, they don't exactly match that, you know, what we're doing. It's tough. And then, you know, we were looking at one point to think about playing 5 out where we clearly can't. So it's a lot of 3 out, 4 out, 5, you know what I mean? But it's very rare where we have a consistent crew on for 5 out. I think when Deuce left too, that you know, that made things probably a little bit worse, because we used him in, you know, so many minutes, and we used him in so many situations. Eventually has to come to toll as well. And right now we're all searching for the same answers, but it's all just been inconsistencies. Consistent. It's been consistent inconsistencies.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the Knicks will rise to the occasion in the playoffs. We talked about how the Knicks weren't a tough physical team. Then when they got into that series with Detroit, after that first game, they started to be tough and physical. Um, and I get it, to expect a team to turn it on, doesn't usually happen. But I don't know. I'm still encouraged by this team. I get it. They are inconsistent. I get the LA games, the game against Utah, but I'm still high on this team. I am. I would be shocked if they lost in the first round. I would not be shocked if they lost in the second round, because the teams they're playing in the second round, that these semifinals in the Eastern Conference is going to be lit. Both series are going to be really, really good. Andrew K, we appreciate you. He says, relax. Knicks are loaded. This could be the year. Like I said a couple months ago, I feel the Celtics the most because of the revenge factor. I think you should throw Detroit in there as well. No, Andrew K, because of the revenge factor. They want to take what's theirs. You know what I'm saying? I do know what you're saying. I do think the Knicks are a talented team, but these other teams, even if they're not just as talented, some of them are just as talented. But even if you want to argue that Detroit might not be as talented, they're more connected. The chemistry is there. Their identity is there. They've been playing the way they play the entire season, just honing it and getting sharper. Where the Knicks, I don't know, maybe it was 10 games ago, was still talking about trying to find themselves in the offense, right? So talent, the Knicks may be loaded, but that the talent has to perform. The talent has to perform. And if you caught sleeping in the playoffs, if you match up with Cleveland, everybody want to talk about how we dominated them 3 years ago. Like that's not the same Cleveland team, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we match up against Cleveland in the semifinals, Boston. Who's the other? Cleveland, Boston. Who's the other top three? Oh, Detroit.
Detroit.
Jeez.
Mm-hmm.
You better be the Knicks we saw at their ceiling. They better be that in the semifinals. Yeah.
The Sixers want some revenge on us too, Steph.
Of course. Yeah.
If they're healthy.
Who's that, Jerrell?
The Sixers.
If they're healthy.
If they're healthy.
I ain't worried about the Sixers.
Okay.
I mean, if they're healthy, if Embiid is healthy, is George done for the season?
No.
Mm-mm.
He'll just be, I think maybe it's the last 4 or 5 games. He may be able to come back.
Yeah, so
from the 25 game suspension.
None of them three are playing right now. I don't look at them as the same Philly team we will have to face in the playoffs at all.
Right. Yeah.
I don't think those guys have played 10 games together. I don't think so. I don't think they've even played 10 games altogether. It would be terrible to get knocked out by them.
Yep.
Right. The offense has options. Shout out to Rebuild NYK. We appreciate you rocking with us tonight. If you have a topic or a question you want us to discuss, put it in the chat and I'll add it to the list. Hold on, let me just read the comment. The offense has options for every type of shots. Jalen and Cat will do what they do. The others have to be aggressive. All right. I just want to get Ajay before you go, because I think what you talked about or what you want to talk about kind of leads into the Knicks inconsistency, which is the 2 losses against the Lakers and the Clippers, and the under subpar performance in the first 3 quarters of the Utah game. So say what you're going to say and then just kind of segue us into that.
No, I was gonna. You could start with that because I was gonna talk about something completely different.
No, it's
Uh,
fine. It's fine.
oh, because okay, so it's no secret that the starting lineup has been performing, right? Um, and that in the past, I don't know, 8 games or 9 games or whatever, like every one of those games, the starting lineups has fallen behind. Every one of them, right? Excuse me.
God bless you.
So thank you. What and I want to ask each one of you on the panel here and in the chat, like, how do you think we could tweak the starting lineup to change that? Okay, because or do you feel it's the coach not bringing them out, like they're not coming out ready, like game in and like game after game after game, or do you think just there's something wrong with that starting lineup? There's one piece we need to like swap. Or do we even have somebody on the bench to swap that one piece, or that's something we may have to look in, just wait for the postseason to take care of?
This is another topic we've kind of talked about, all season long
ad nauseum, but
ad nauseum. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure what bench player is playing so well that he needs to replace somebody in the starting lineup, though. Like the closest one would be Jerrell. I don't think we should be starting him. Other than that, who would it be?
Who would you start him for, though?
Yeah, which player?
No, he said he wouldn't start him, period.
Yeah, I wouldn't start him, period.
Okay, first question, Jerrell. Who do you think in the starting lineup needs to come out?
That's tough. I don't think really nobody needs to come out, but if anybody would come out, it would be Josh Hart. Just so we can have his energy. Like his thing is about energy, whether he starts or comes off the bench. Like we need his energy regardless whether he starts or come off. So I think the starting lineup would take less of a hit if it's him.
Queen's nodding yes. Queen's in agreement.
I am not in agreement, but I don't know who else to take out the starting lineup. Geoff and I talked about this on one of the recap shows. He brought up a stat that despite the lineup data with the starters not playing that well together, they don't have good plus minus on the season. The Knicks win 70% of the games that Josh Hart starts, and they're closer to 500 in the games in which he either doesn't start or doesn't play. So it's hard to make sense of the lineup data. I mean, everybody assumes that is Hart who's the issue because he doesn't shoot or he's hesitant to shoot. But if you look around the league, everybody is not playing 5 out. There are teams, most teams have one, some teams have even 2 non-shooters in their starting lineup, and they're making it work. So I'm not so convinced that it's Josh Hart. That's the issue. But I have no problem if Mike Brown decides he wants to take him out of the starting lineup. Just understand where you're going to get your rebounding from, because Bridges, Brunson, OG are below average rebounders. I don't know about Brunson. Bridges and OG are below average rebounders for their position.
But Steph, you do know I only picked Josh Hart because I had to pick somebody, though.
No. I agree. But now I'm leaning toward Bridges.
Can we talk about Bridges, right? Let's think for a second that they take Mikal Bridges out of the lineup and, I don't know, plug in either Shamet or Diawara, right? Actually, I think Josh Hart needs to stay in the starting lineup. If I would remove somebody, it would be Mikal Bridges. My dilemma is I don't know if I would put Shamet, which is probably what Coach Brown would do because of his maturity and experience, or Mo Diawara but he's not. He's just not there yet. He has the right physique, the right body, and speed and athleticism, and shooting to be in the starting lineup. If you had to pull a move like that.
When you put him in a starting lineup, are you giving him starters minutes, or are you keeping his minutes the same as he's getting now?
How many minutes he's getting now?
I don't know, about what, anywhere from 12 to 16.
Right.
I mean, with 18, some starters get 18 minutes. I don't know. Like, yes, 16 to 18, depending on how the game goes. But and I didn't even think that far ahead in terms of how many minutes. I'm just looking at the starting lineup not falling behind 10, 12 points every game. I don't know. So, and the reason why I say that is because Mikal Bridges is not giving us much on offense, and lately not much on defense. Would it make sense to just plug somebody in and just see what we get, and having him come off the bench and be the leading guy off the bench, meaning the play, the center of attention with the second unit. Now, the second unit, and I know how Mike Brown does. Actually, every coach do that. They still keep a couple of guys from the starting lineup in that after the first substitution, but you kind of focus a little bit more on Mikal Bridges to get him in the game, get him some more shots, because he can shoot. He can score, but it's just that he's not getting enough opportunities with the starting lineup, I don't think.
I don't even think Bridges doesn't want the opportunities. I don't see Bridges as being frozen out of the offense, or that's just not him. Maybe if you put him at, more with the second team, he'll feel that he has to be more aggressive, but I don't get the sense that he's being squeezed out. That's Bridges. Bridges likes to play within the flow of the game. Jerrell?
Like I was gonna say, I don't know, I might be the most down of anybody in the starting lineup in Bridges, but I don't know. Just us saying benching him, how realistic is that?
Yeah, it's tough with this lineup. I've given it some thought too. It's tough because like you said, who you bringing in, And to me, I think it's more honestly, I think you bring in somebody, you may get an excitement, you may get a small boost, but I think teams will quickly figure out on film the same thing. The guys in the same place doing the same thing. So to me, a lot of it is I think that they just need to. Mike needs to increase the off-ball action. So I think that when these guys come down, it's pretty much, that guy in the corner, that same one in the corner, you know what I mean? We just finally moved Cat. So to me, I think we don't have like a switchable personnel. And if we did, we don't have anybody that dynamic that can create, with the ball in their hand to create, just having things move differently. We don't have that, I don't think, as far as the personnel. I think even if we did bring Diawara in, I don't think he has enough cachet with the players just yet. So a lot of times they're not going to pass him the ball. They will still freeze him at times. Certain times he's going to get it, but I just don't think that, do I want a young rookie situated now down this stretch, pushing him toward the playoffs and into the playoffs? Not really. I could bring Shamit off for a little bit. What's name here for a while, but if we bring Shamit in and whoever we take off is even Mikal or Hart, then who am I getting my shooting from in the on the back half? So it's a tough dilemma. But to me, the best thing that you can do is the players that we have that are on there starting is somehow get them in better position. And to me, there is just too much stagnation after the first few seconds. And then it's Brunson, whose more focus is, we love him, but Brunson focuses first on his shot. He's not a creator in that sense where he is looking to manipulate the defense to create a pass. He's looking to manipulate the defense first to get his shot, pass comes second. And if it happens to be in that flow, and then he will ditch. But if his shot is open, he's taking that first. So we got to figure out something else that's besides Brunson having his hands on the ball all the time. Because just like we're talking about these games, and to smooth into that subject a bit, that Laker game, he had the ball in his hands every time down the floor, where it was almost where I kept counting, like, is he not going to touch the ball on this one? Is he not going to touch the ball on this one? And every one he touched the ball. So it makes your defense, where the defense can focus, where it knows where it's coming from. We got to do better. And I think Mike Brown, in order to pull somebody out, we still got to figure out a better system. But that's just my take on it, and which just out of a million.
Yeah. I definitely respect it, and you know I respect you, but I would have to disagree. I don't disagree with the Laker game, but if you watch the Knicks of late, I don't see Brunson dominating the ball at all. I see Brunson passing too much, if you ask me. Now the Laker game, that's a different story. I will give you that. But some of those shots that Brunson would usually take, he's getting into the teeth of the defense and he's just passing out to three point shooters. At the end of the day, he has 15 shots, 16 shots, 17 shots. When earlier in the season, his shots was over 20. So I don't want to just take the Laker game and just say that's who Brunson has been over the past 10, 14, 15 games, because me watching it, to me, that hasn't been the case. And to me, I see Brunson being really ineffective because he's trying to be something that he's not. And so I think that might be part of it could be an honest shooting slump, but I think his game has changed, his mindset has changed, and he's into getting into the key and spraying as opposed to getting into the key and putting pressure on the offense. Now, it could be that, listen, I'm in a slump, my shot is not falling, I'm not going to force it. So my shot is not falling, I'm just going to use my gravity to pass. And that's where we saw the 215 assist game, the 10 assist game. I'm not going to force it. Doesn't mean he's not taking shots, but I'm not going to force it too much because this is just not my game. But the Brunson burner that we saw last season, where he's just holding the ball and rocking it for 10, 11 seconds because he's not quick. So he has to set his guy up and kind of get him off balance before, and that could take like 10, 12, 12 seconds. I'm not really seeing a lot of that. I'm seeing an ineffective Brunson. To me, he doesn't look like himself. And I think because he's trying to play a different way. I agree with you in terms of, backcourt action, weak side action, and those things. But I think is Brunson trying to play within Mike Brown's system, specifically since the All-Star break. I see a distinct difference in his play since the All-Star break. And I just don't think it's something that, that suits him. And what I will say is, who else hands do you want the ball to be in? Your best player should touch the ball on every possession multiple times.
I think you misunderstood me just a bit. It's not that I'm really faulting Brunson. The system itself, from what they run and how they run it, it dictates that sometimes Brunson should not have the ball in his hand. So whoever is calling and making the calls and making the runs, there's points where he should not have the ball, but he does. You know what I mean? So if we have a system that really doesn't consist, as we say, points, not having a point guard, a true point guard at times, right? And everybody should be moving and processing the point of the ball. But if you have one guy who's consistently coming down and he's still dictating the movement, that means that everybody's not touching that ball. That means that you got guys 10, 11, 12 times not touching the ball. And where all of a sudden you get a guy who was only 5, 6 times or taking shots. Or the same thing, position kid, because the same thing was happening to Cat as well, where the ball is not movement enough. We're supposed to be more than just, we're a motion offense, but we know we need a ball movement offense. So motion does nothing if we're not ball movement. And Mike Brown's offense, that's what it I'm not trying to, you know what I mean, hone in on Brunson. But if we're going by what the system's supposed to dictate, that means that ball is supposed to be moving. And a guy should not have the ball in his hands 12, 13, 14 seconds, period. The ball should be moving.
Though.
And it's not. He does.
I don't.
He does.
Okay.
He
does. Well, I will say this.
If you watch it, Steph, what will happen is that he will pass. But a lot of times that pass is coming back to him, and then it's boom, boom again. Then it's boom, boom again.
But sometimes, who should it go to? He's the best player on the team.
Yes, but the system dictates that there should be more ball movement. And when the ball movement is not swinging and not happening, that's where our offense
you just
goes
said
on an
it's
inconsistent
swung
basis.
And it comes back to him.
Yes.
So it's swinging and it's coming in. Okay, I will say this. I don't like the system then. I don't like any system that minimizes your best player, period. Now, balance is key. I don't want last year's system either, where, you know, Brunson is just coming down and the entire possession is his till the end of the clock. If he doesn't, I don't want that either. But I do not want an equal opportunity offense. I do not want other players taking just as many shots as Brunson because they're not as good. I don't want that. Now, for me, I think that I want to utilize those other players just as much to keep the defense honest so that Brunson has the space that he needs to go to work. That's so you do need it. It can't be just Brunson. I get that part. But do you think I want Bridges and OG taking as many shots as Brunson? Do you think I want Bridges and OG to get as many touches as Brunson? I don't. I want those guys to get just enough touches to keep the defense honest so they know they can't key on Brunson. But that these guys should know. When Harden was in his heyday, when Durant was in his heyday, you look at any of the best play, Shea Gildress, these guys touch the ball a lot. Does that mean the other players don't touch the ball? Yes, they do touch the ball. They touch the ball enough to keep the defense honest so you know you can't key on those guys. Just enough, but not too much. You understand what I'm saying? And so this is the problem I'm having with, with the system, is that we want to make sure these other guys get equal opportunities. No. And say what you want to say about Thibodeau. I was all for the firing. You're not getting along with your players. You're not getting along with the front office. You can't be here. I get it. This is even before we get to the basketball stuff with Thibodeau. But Thibodeau knew who buttered that bread. Thibodeau knew who his best players was, and Thibodeau wanted to limit mistakes. That's why OG Anunoby and Mikal Bridges was in those corners, to limit mistakes. And now you see, when you let OG out the box, you're going to get those 34-point games against Denver, and you're going to get the other ones where he's sliding on out of bounds, and doing all those other things. Okay, fine. This is my spiel. I don't like an offense that doesn't feature your best players and put them in the best position to win. And I feel like this offense, if you're saying, because you're our schematic guy, if what you're saying is this is more of an equal opportunity offense, it's not working for me. If Brunson has
it's pretty much like, let's say if you're being told this is what our system is, but then all of a sudden you see one or two doing other things, and then all of a sudden we have discussions about holding each other accountable for what's going on or what's happening or what may have went wrong. But then it continues to keep happening. It continues to keep happening. But you're selling me a system that says, okay, I got 5 doors to go through, but I only see you going through 1 or 2 doors. I understand where you're coming from. and I agree in ways. But this is the system in which that Mike is pushing in front of them. And then you get guys that are still saying, well, I don't know my role. Why? Because I thought that this was what we were supposed to be doing, but it isn't moving that way. So we got players up into the 60 and 60 something games here still saying, I'm not sure what my role is. I'm not sure. And then they give you the cliche answer. I just want to win. I just want us to win. So it's things like that. This is what I'm just reading what I'm seeing. Not that I agree what's saying. I'm just simply telling you how I'm reading the point of what we see and what we're seeing in these games.
Okay. All right. Any thoughts on that? I know I said a lot. Nick Nation said a lot. Jerrell, Ajay, the chat. No, that's fine.
Nah, that's good. I'm actually about to roll out. It's 10 o'clock already. Look, Ajay was right. Look, we didn't even get through his question. Look at all the stuff that we've been talking about.
Mm-hmm.
That means you can't go. You got to stay.
That's what this team does to us, though. You got to think about it. Like, we love everybody on the panel, and everybody in the chat love the Knicks. Like, these games is grueling to watch until the playoffs come. But we gonna nitpick and get through the corners and crevices and stuff for everything anyway. Like, that's just what we do.
I don't know about everybody in the chat loving the Knicks though, but go ahead, keep going.
Well, 95%. How about that?
Okay. Yeah, that's better.
All right, y'all. See y'all next week.
All right,
love y'all. Salute to the chat.
Right.
Peace out.
Appreciate you.
Yep.
Ally Wise wants to know, do you know this, or is this your belief? So, Ally Wise, are you saying in terms of the schematics?
Probably how the players are feel and think. It's for me, it's reading the breadcrumbs. You can read, you know what I mean, the inconsistencies. You can read their body language. There's certain things that tell us this. We know, but the players themselves have said it. I'm not making that part up. We've had 2 or 3 players that have said, I'm not sure what we're doing. I'm not sure what my role is.
Okay. A-Train, appreciate you, sis. If guys aren't sure their roles by now, then either the coach ain't communicating that well, or he is and the players are just rebelling. Okay. All right. The X Productions 90s. All Brown wants is more ball movement and better defense when it comes to closing out on the shooters. Okay. Alawai says yes, because I think his breadcrumbs reading is incorrect. Okay. So what are you getting, Ally Wise? Ajay, did you want to add something on the Brunson offensive front, or not really?
I think some you just read a comment here. You said somebody said all Brown wants is
yes, I'll get it. Here it is.
Ball movement.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, ball movement and better defense when it comes to. So I am, again, I go back to my points. Maybe we don't have the players that could give you ball movement and better defense at the same time. So when you look at those games, right? Like yesterday's game, okay? I mean, Utah is not, the Jazz is not one of the best 3-point shooting teams in the league, right? And they come out the gate flaming. I mean, they spit hot fire, like dialing. And then we call, I don't know how many timeouts, and we still couldn't adjust. So it's not like I'm sure coach is calling the timeout, say, guys, you gotta do this, you gotta do that, you gotta guard the 3, but they just not capable of. They just cannot guard the 3. We don't have guys who could guard that. We have supposedly some of the best wing stops in the league, but they're not able to guard the 3-point line. So, when you watch a game like that, you're like, well, is it the coach's scheme to say, you know what, protect the basket, protect down low. We have more defense, and then this is not a good 3-point shooting team. Let them shoot from 3. right? But I'm saying that could have been the logic going into the game, right? But after the first 4 or 5 minutes, and they're shooting like 92%. No, they were really. I mean, it was insane. I think I remember it was
70% from three, and I think 67% at the half.
no to start the game. I think they hit 11 of 13.
Okay.
Okay, so at some point, it's not. I mean, is that the scheme, or is that? I mean, you got to call a timeout and say, you know what, scrap what we started doing. Right? They shooting 85% from three. Let's change it up a little bit.
I'm sure he did, Ajay. And maybe they were shooting that way because they weren't executing the scheme.
Okay, so players, do we have the players that cannot execute the scheme that he wants?
I think we do because we've seen it. You know, we've seen them do it. They just don't do it consistently. We've seen it. Listen, it could be so many reasons why. You know, maybe we're reading too deeply into it. You know, it could be, you know, the change in time. Not necessarily making excuses. It could be all kinds of reasons why in a particular game the players are not up to speed. You know, to me, overall, the Knicks are a good team. Are they maddeningly inconsistent at times? Absolutely, but I do think they are a good team, and the playoffs are going to tell the story for the players and Mike Brown and Leon Rose in terms of the team he constructed. The playoffs will tell the story. It's kind of hard to extrapolate, you know, what this is going to mean in the playoffs. Um, we shall see. A Train says we have 9 more likes than Mikel's shot average. Come on, folks, hit that button.
Yes, please.
Yeah. Break Forever said the playoff magic is going to wear itself out. We make too many excuses for the Knicks. They're not a good team. The Knicks are a good team. You know, I'm trying to think who's not a good team. Washington is not a good team. The Knicks are a good team. Now, if you want to say you don't think they're as good as Boston, if you want to say you don't think they're as good as the Cavs, that's fair. That's fair. But to say they're not a good team when they have I don't know, 5th, 6th, 7th best record in the entire NBA? I mean, all right. The Flying Grayson, I think that everyone is being unfair about them being inconsistent. They are very consistent as their record shows. This team has been very consistent, winning 4 of 7 games all year long, 10 times this year. Listen. I say this about inconsistent shooting. How can somebody be inconsistent if they're shooting 40%, you know, from 3? Yeah, because they shot 70% one game and then they shot like 20 or 30% the next game. That's what inconsistency means. You can still have a good record and have inconsistent performances. You can have inconsistent performances and even win the game. Right? I mean, how many times have we sat here and say, wow, this Knicks team has turned the corner? This Knicks team? This is a championship contending team for real. And then only to come back, I don't know, 4 games later or something and be like, I don't know what we're going to do with this team. You know what I mean?
Come in.
They're still good. I still believe in them. I still trust them. You know, that they'll play closer to their ceiling in the playoffs. But I don't think it's a narrative. I think they are inconsistent. All right. If you have any question or any topic, put it in the chat. We will add it to the list. Ajay, anything specific about the 2 losses in the Utah other than questioning whether or not the players are good enough?
That we didn't touch on. And I think somebody mentioned that in the chat. Like they for some reason, I think our team, they lack heart, like that passion. That and listen, I said maybe the last show, the Detroit Pistons was playing and they was getting their ass whooped, and I mentioned how they take it personal when they lose a game. They're really upset, like they take it to heart. I feel like our team is like, hey, we just lost another game, whatever. Go ahead, hugs and kisses on the other side. Let's go have dinner after the game, or whatever. I think they need to. I mean, it's not that they don't take it serious, but they don't take it personal. They don't take it too hard enough. And I feel like if you got to understand, these guys on the other team, they're not your friends, man. They're not your buddies. I don't care if you play with them 5 years before you were. They want to beat the crap out of you. They don't want to hang out with you. Like I feel like we don't get that. We don't understand our team. Those guys, they don't understand that.
Yeah.
It's almost like we playing other teams that have they have their game face, they have the serious face on, and then we out here like kicking around and laughing and joking like this is a game. Yeah, you playing a game, but it's your profession, man. That's what you do. That's your job. We don't have.
You think they're doing that in the game, and you think that's impacting their performance?
I think for some, I don't know, but I don't. I feel like. So you're watching Boston play, not so much. Boston, it looks like they come in here, they take it serious. I mean, these guys look like construction workers going to work. I feel like we don't have that, but not every team. Okay,
I was about to say not every team.
OKC look like they're going out there to have fun, but they're young. Like they have a lot of time ahead of them. They're a very young team. Our team is not as young, and I don't know. I feel like they don't take it too hard enough.
Is that from your coach? Is that like a representation of your coach, or is that a representation just of one point of the team or a particular player? Like,
I don't know.
Yeah, I think there's some over analyzing. I'm with Cool Breeze 718, Brooklyn. I'm not questioning. It's the dark days of the season. They will be ready for the playoffs. I'm just ready for the playoffs to start. Yeah.
You guys keep saying that, and I hope you're right. I hope everybody's right. I don't think there's a switch they're gonna turn on. All of a sudden, they're gonna become
No.
consistent.
I'm ready for the playoffs to start so I can see. I'm not saying they're going to turn it on and they're going to, be a team that they're not. I've seen two versions of this team, and I just want the playoffs to start so I can see what this team is going to be. The playoffs are going to tell us a lot about this team, this roster, this coach, this front office. It's going to tell us a lot. So I just kind of want to get to that. I don't want to.
You want to know what I think, Queen? I think we're going to see both versions of that team in the playoffs. All right. The only problem in the playoffs, you only have 7 games in a series. See, you don't have 82 games to have a 9-game skid, and then still be the third, the third best record in the East. You don't have that luxury in the playoffs. That's the difference. In playoffs, you have 2-game skid. You got that's 1 foot out the door.
Yeah, that's a fact. Dope Boy Fresh Music. We're really passionate about our team, but we should also embrace every moment. We were a losing team a few years ago, and we changed that. Yeah, I think it is easy to lose perspective, and about where we've come from. Not that we should be satisfied, but to just kind of lose perspective. All right.
I ain't lose no perspective. It's been 1973. I've been waiting. I ain't got no time to wait no more. I got 1 foot on a banana peel and 1 half in the grave. So you kidding me? I needed to happen.
Yeah. Curtis D. Young, I don't think the coach is the problem. Whatever he tells them at halftime seems to correct the problem. Okay. LRY7, I'm waiting to see 2. Yes, just appreciate it, not get comfy.
Mhm.
I am with you on I'm with you on that. Let's get into Alvarado. So what we're doing today is I didn't have any questions coming
With,
into
with freestyling, Queen.
yeah, we're freestyling.
Wait,
So
wait.
we I got some topics from the panel members before we went live. If you have topics or questions that you want us to discuss, put it in the chat. I will add it to the list. Nick Nation wanted to talk about Alvarado. Go, let's go.
Yeah, listen, I get, hometown boy, coming back home, the impact it has, for the fans, the city, things like that, overall Knicks spirit. But I just think that his game is not up to par for what we need at times. And I don't see him as a fix. I definitely see almost that. I'm going to call Leon out on this. I think that Leon has almost been truly ineffective for the most part for everything that he's done for this year as far as free agencies has come in. I don't see, you know what I mean, out of the players that we brought in, none of them seem to be consistently effective. So Alvarado is just another one. But I think that Alvarado's ineffective to be able to create passes, being effective at more of actually staying in front of his man instead of being displaced or going for steals and riding behind the guy and, picking up silly fouls. I just don't see him as the point guard that we have coming in, or one of these guards that we have coming in that's effective. I just don't really see. I get he gets a couple of steals here, maybe every 3 games. He's had some excitement, but I don't think that he makes these other players offensively really much better. And defensively, I think he has too many holes as well. And I think that just is according to point of his size. I love his effort. I love his energy. I love the tenacity he brings. I love his toughness. But, where players can sit back and sit 5 yards off of him and he, airball, 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 and he's in that position a lot of times. And this is what happens to us. He comes in, another guy that you could slack off and not guard up. I think we got enough of those. I don't want to pick on him specifically. I just think that he doesn't fit for what we need. So that's just my spiel on that. Sorry to be a talking head, but
That's fine.
that's just how I feel.
Your thoughts, Ajay?
My thoughts and shout out to A Train. That's basically what I was thinking. Because we got rid of Yabusele for and but Jose you could play him a couple of minutes. Gerson,
I pointed to Leon though. I did point to Leon though first.
I mean, yeah, but it's I think in his limited minutes he's just here to give Brunson a breather while Deuce is not here, but he's not. Listen, if we could get anything out of him, we get it. If we don't, we have other options at the guard position. So it's not like you're stuck with him. So that's just up to Mike Brown's judgment. But when he's playing well, though, if he could play 8-10 minutes and dish out maybe like 4 or 5 assists and pick a pocket here, and listen, I'm okay with him. The best part is, and shout out to Clyde, man. Do other team have the luxury of walk like Frazier? The other day was watching the game. Jose had an assist. Clyde said, "Jose, can you see?" Like he was so excited, like he started, singing the Star Spangled Banner. But I'm okay with him. I don't have any problem with it. He doesn't play a ton of minutes anyway. And like Queen said, man, if he could just give us 2 shots, like shoot a little bit better, like because he does get some wide open shots. Like if he could hit, a couple of those, man, it would really help. but I am okay with his game. For his diminutive size, he plays very hard defense. He makes it hard. He puts a lot of pressure on whoever's bringing the ball up.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess yeah, I'm okay with Alvarado. I don't that position behind Brunson, particularly when it comes to the playoffs, to me, I feel like you need a solid ball handler that can run your offense. Would it be nice that's not going to turn the ball over, that's used to being in these situations in the playoffs, that has some experience? He's playing. He's probably going to play 8 minutes in the playoffs. 9 minutes. Brunson is going to be closer to um, 40 in the playoffs. And I also like that when he plays with Brunson, Brunson can really play off the ball because say what you want to say about Alvarado, he has a handle. He can handle the ball. Um, I just think he's not playing well right now. So I'm not going to take that to mean that's who he is overall. I just think he's not playing well, right? I've seen him get in the key and lay the ball up. I've seen him, make good passes. I've seen him spearhead the offense, tell Cat, this person needs to move out so Cat can get over here. I've seen him do that. He's not a point guard, and there's not many point guards out there that does this anyway, that's going to pass you into a shot. But that doesn't mean he can't be effective. Run the offense, get us into our sets, take care of the ball. Please hit an open shot. Like I agree with you on that. I just think that his shot making has to improve, but he's a backup. He's a backup point guard playing 10 minutes a game. Like somebody else said, that's the least of our worries, right?
You think that he's
Uh,
going to be in the playoffs? You think that he's going to be a steady role in the playoffs? Because when
I
Deuce
think
comes
he's
back,
gonna.
who's getting pulled? Who's going to get pulled then?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that. But Deuce is not a point guard.
This is true.
Deuce is not a point guard. So
But would you rather
it
have Alvarado out there or Deuce out there?
at the point guard position, I would rather have Alvarado at the point guard position. In general, I would rather have Deuce out there. But that's Mike Brown's problem. That's why he gets paid $10 million a year to
10 million.
figure.
He's getting 10 million. What?
I think so. To
He should share that.
to figure that out. But yeah, yeah. But I'm not as down on Alvarado, but I do agree. I just feel like he's slumping right now. Um, David G. Alvarado hate will not be tolerated. I mean, we're just talking about what we're seeing,
I'm sorry, Dave.
right now. Um, Doughboy Fresh Music. We need a point guard with some bunnies and defense and vision. Okay. X Productions 90s. The X Productions 90s. I've seen more good things than bad with Jose. Okay. Okay. All right. Anything else on Alvarado? All right. Oh, we're moving right along here. Okay, good. So we do have some questions here. So we'll get to the question. So if you have questions, topics, put them down. We're going through them right now. How deep should the Knicks go in the playoff? What should the rotation be? That's a very good question. Some think the rotation should be tightened up. Others feel it should be loosened up, similar to OKC and Indiana. I think it depends on your team. So I think we're going to answer this question based on the Knicks. What do you guys think?
I'll let AJ go first.
Wait, I'm sorry.
How deep should the Knicks? How deep should the Knicks go in the play? Oh, I'm thinking the question was how deep should the Knicks go in the rotation? Okay. How deep should the Knicks go in the playoffs, and what should the rotation be? Two questions. Okay. Okay.
Like, so, how deep should they go and to consider this a successful season? Or
Oh, he did mean deep in the rotation. Okay. How deep should the Knicks go into the rotation in the playoffs?
now I get it. Um, Listen, I think at least 10. I know Queen is yeah, I know you're super against that, and I know Mike Brown probably is too. But I think I probably 10. We should go at least 10 deep. At least 10 deep.
Okay. We have the 5 starters. Who are the other 5 who should get run?
Mitchell Robinson, and I'm assuming Deuce is back by then. Landry Shamet, Diawara, and Jordan Clarkson.
Whew. So you got to bring in 3 short. So it's Shamet, Clarkson, Mitch, Diawara. I'm missing somebody.
Deuce.
Deuce, Shamet, and Clarkson. So you bring in 3 small guards in off the bench.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Nick Nation.
Oh, they're not really. Well, 2 of them are not. They both. What's name is 6'5", right?
Who?
Jordan Clarkson.
Shamet, isn't Shamet 6'5"?
I think they're 6'4" and under.
Oh, for some reason I don't know. I thought Shamet
I
was
think
6'5".
and Clarkson might be 6'3".
Yeah, for some reason I thought he was 6'4", 6'5" too. I don't know. For some reason that's what I thought. Yeah, I'm gonna say 9. And the regular starting 5. Then we got Mitch, we got Deuce, we got Shamet, and I'm gonna say situational between Diawara or could be Jose Alvarado, could be
Oh, I forgot Alvarado.
so as I said, or it could be Clarkson, but that's a situational what's name is. But the point of mostly playing a game, probably 9 tops. I can't see 10.
Yeah. Clarkson is 6'3".
No, I'm seeing 6'5", Queen. 6'5", 194 pounds. Where are you getting 6 feet? I'm looking at Basketball Reference. He's 6'5".
Really?
Yeah.
That's the only place I've seen where he was 6'5". Okay. All right.
He doesn't look 6'3".
Maybe I'm wrong.
Let's
Okay.
put
No,
the
but I'm
baby
saying
6'4".
out there,
Okay.
he doesn't.
Okay. He's 6'5".
But you know what? He doesn't look 6'5" either. So I have to say.
Let's put the baby. Let's put the baby 6'4".
Okay. He's okay. He's 6'5". You're right. Most places are saying that he is that he's 6'5". Okay. I would So when you extend the rotation in the playoffs, it's the balance between you giving your main guys more rest, but also your main guys are getting less minutes. So your better guys are not on the floor giving that impact. To me, that's the trade-off. And I think that's why a lot of coaches tighten up that rotation so that they have their better players on the floor most of the time. But energy, effort, wind, all of those things are a factor. So that is the trade-off. So I'm okay with 9, 10, 11, 12. Like, who are you taking those minutes from to give somebody 4 or 5 minutes? Like, if you're trying to give somebody a blow, I definitely get it. But if you're getting somebody's minutes down to 32, I think you're playing into the hands of the other team. If your best player is playing 32 minutes a game, 33 minutes, your better players, 32, 33 minutes. Oh, but they're fresh. You could be fresh at 35, 36, 37 minutes in the playoffs. I mean, um, particularly if another team is shortening their rotation. And so you have their better players going against your 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th and 10th player, right? It'll be interesting to see what Mike Brown does. I'm more of a proponent of shortening the rotation, but I don't mean shortening it to 6, maybe 9 with that 9th guy getting 8 minutes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You got to have your best players out there because the margins are slim in the playoffs. The margins are slim.
Yeah. I got the issue. I think my mind works as far as like baseball, where if not picking on him, but if Mikhail gave me zip in the first half and we get to the third quarter, he's still giving me zip. You know what I mean? I wanted to be like the how to pitcher. You know what I mean? Hey, come over here. Give me the ball. Give me the ball. All right, yeah. I pat you on the ass. Get over there on the bench. Bring somebody else in and play some meaningful minutes. I think Mike Brown has to recognize some of that faster and say, hey, you know what I mean? Because we can't have that. You can't have that in the playoffs. You can't have a guy with, 6 fouls. He has the ability to take 15 shots, and he comes out the game, and his clip is still full loaded. No, I think that's my one issue is that you can play all these players, but if they're not playing well and they ain't got it that day, hook them, gone, and let's live with it.
Yeah. And I think some players, the decision is going to be made for them because there are some players that the playoffs take them out. And by that, I mean they're just not as effective. And you wonder what happened to them. I can't tell you how many times I've seen that. You get to the playoffs and the players just, the intensity of it, the bright lights of it, whatever it is, they're just not themselves. And so you may go in with 10 and you might get good for performances from 7. You know what I mean? The playoffs exactly. has a way of doing that. I've seen it. So we shall see. Great question though. Appreciate it. A Train, Nick Nation. Yes, Brown needs to get his Joe Torre walk on and pull him. Yeah. The thing with the better players is that you always think they always think, and the coach always thinks that the next shot is going to be the one that turn it around. And I think the other thing also is coaches are not just looking at shot making. They're looking at other things as well. I think for us, it's like, oh, they're not hitting their shots. They need to come out. But the coach is also looking at, well, how are they playing defense? What else are they providing? Because you cannot shoot well and still play well. Are they rebounding? Right? Do they still have the gravity? Even if they're not shooting well, if they still have gravity, that's helping us with our spacing. So much goes into why a player stays into a game. And I do want to say this about Bridges. He may not shoot well, and he may be underwhelming on the offensive end some games, but he brings other things as well. He's somebody that if it's not a lot of pressure, he can bring the ball up to court, and that saves Brunson from having to bring the ball up to court every single time, right? He is somebody who is a ball mover. He might be the best ball mover on the team because he will look for the next guy. So he does other things, and I don't want to take that away from him, even when he's not scoring. So that may also be a reason why the coach is not so quick to take him out the starting lineup because he may see the other things that he's bringing. Okay. Chat, when you want measurements, check with the NBA compound measurements. Okay. All right.
Queen, all right. You got all the super chats?
Oh, I didn't get any of the super chats. Let's get to the super chats. And JJ had a question as well. Walter White, 820, appreciate you. Salute to the collective. Besides changing the starting lineups, Is there any way to fix the slow starts? I don't know. Yeah. You know, maybe call some plays right out the gate to to get somebody going. I don't know.
Make it mandatory that ball circulates a little bit more, if you could, because that's what it is. It's a lot of times we could have, like I said, we could have motion where guys are moving, but the ball needs to move. There needs to be circulation of that ball. I think it opens up a lot of lanes, opens up 3-pointers and things like that. But when the ball doesn't move, we're not opening much.
Okay. Jamrock always. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I would play stuff, come out the gate focusing on defense. Come out the gate focusing on defense. Because if you can get some stops at the beginning of the game and get some easy buckets, everybody gets in rhythm when you do that.
Yeah. And not turn the ball over, not have 20 turnovers.
Yep.
Yeah. 40 turnovers in 2 games.
A couple of fast breaks, start the game, a couple of, in traffic rebounds, get your blood pumping, get everybody pumped up, and then, off to the races.
Jamrock always appreciate you. Need to add a 2-way free agent and draft the same in the summer. Okay. All right. A-Train has a question. Go ahead. You had something to say?
No, I said I don't even think we'll take the player, but
okay. Break Forever we'll get to you, Break Forever. A-Train, if they get to the ECF, which team would you prefer the Knicks face? Cleveland.
That's easy. That's easy. That is an easy one, A-Train.
Yeah. Break Forever, how do you play good defense with bad offense? I mean, it's 2 different sides of the court.
It's 2 different sides of the court.
So we see that. Like, I thought the Knicks defense was okay against the Lakers. I think the Lakers also missed some, open shots as well. I think we lost that game, but I think they scored 110 points. The Knicks can only muster 97.
The turnovers killed us.
Yeah.
20, I think it was 18 to 20 turnovers that game. And we got beat on rebounds as well, which is rare. But we got out rebounded, if I'm mistaken, right? I think we got rebounded, turnovers, and we couldn't hit free throws. Those 3 will kill you every time.
I mean, in the past, we've had some Knicks team who actually literally won game with defense. Like stellar defenses and a little bit of offense. Barely get the ball in the hole, but just play tough on the other end. We've had that.
Yeah, but we're not rebounding. We're not winning. That's how we win. We win based off rebound.
Rebounding, not turning the ball over, right? Making sure you get enough possessions and second chance opportunities.
Yeah.
25 the possession
assists,
game.
27 assists. Yeah, that's where we make our money.
And on defense, rebounding is part of the defense too. I mean, that's part of the
100.
Mm-hmm. The slow start relies on Brunson because he's like the top 3 in first quarter points. So are you saying because of the slump, that may be why the Knicks are, or because he's dominating the ball, that may be why? I wonder if he's top 3 in points since the All-Star break. Okay. All right. Let's see. So JJ had a question for us early. Let me see if I can find it. My question is, what can we do to get the most out of Bridges? the most out of him?
That is one that stumps me.
Bring him off the bench.
Why do you think you'll get more out of him coming off the
No,
bench?
I don't clean up. I'm just kidding. I just trying to get some people in the chat upset. That's all.
Oh, okay.
I think he has a better game when he plays with a more. Don't kill me, y'all out there.
No,
I just think
no.
that he plays better when he has more of a true point guard pass first place. And to me, a lot of his best games, it looked like it coordinated. I don't want to say the name, but Kolick. A lot of times it looked like that's where he had his better games. Offensively, he looks like he has his better games. It looks like he just sets him up better. He gets him the ball in his areas, and it just seems like those two built like a relationship bond with each other. And to me, that was where Mikal, to me, seemed to be most effective this year.
Then we need to trade him. Like
No,
if your
no.
effectiveness is based on
Not
Kolick,
being
a second year player, like you can only play with a pass first, then that's not what we have. Then you're not a fit for Brunson, and you don't need to be here because you got to build a
And
team
I
around your
agree.
best player.
I agree.
You got to build a team around your best
Nick
player.
Nation just spent 2 minutes saying what I just said. Bring him off the bench because he can't play with the start. He can't play with Brunson. You're saying like he's not as effective. He's more effective when he's not when Brunson's not on the court with him.
The problem is we take him to the bench. Who do we really have to come in to say that, okay, into the playoffs, that this is where I'm going to start him? And what's his name is? I mean, are you going to do Shamit? It's possible. But currently right now, if you put Shamit in there, then we got no real effective offense coming off the bench as far as a shooter in that consistency. And I don't want to put that on Diawara,
No, Bridges can score. He be the main scorer off the bench. Why he can play that role?
Okay.
To me, I don't think Bridges is. I don't think the issue is that Brunson is dominating the ball. I think the issue with Bridges is that Bridges is just content with playing within the flow of the offense. If he gets it, he gets it. If he doesn't, he doesn't. That's just Bridges. I don't think it's a matter of competing with spots. And he does so many things for that starting lineup besides scoring. It's going to be hard to bring him in. Because remember, Landry Shamet, I like Landry, but I mean, I guess he can handle. I guess he can handle the ball. Help Brunson out in that respect. He's a good shooter. We've definitely seen more of his bag in terms of him putting the ball on the floor. If you're saying Shaman is just as good a player as Bridges, then I'm really disappointed in what we gave up to get him.
Value-wise, right now, Shamit is probably our best value player that we have. Value. He's making what, $2 million?
Yeah.
Giving us what he's given. Yeah. I'll take two of him and ditch Mikal. If if I'm being straight up honest about it.
You don't have to apologize, Jamrock. Always, you're entitled to your opinion. Brunson being our best player will more than likely not result in an NBA championship. Brunson needs to be the second best player on the team. That's the sense I'm getting. You're entitled to your opinion. Pressure. At the end of the day, we don't know what the coach is telling Bridges. That keeps him marginal at times. Okay. Cool Breeze 718. Bridges is the fourth option on this team, but needs to be in double figures. Okay. The X Production 90s, but lately Mikal hasn't been getting to his mid-range lately. Okay. Break forever. Mikal Bridges is too soft. He's not aggressive going to the basket. He pulls up from mid-range to get his points. That's his game. Is DeRozan soft for pulling up for the mid-range? That's his game. Like, I don't want Bridges to be what he's not. I just want him to be more of who he already is, to bring more of what he already does on the offensive in. Rebuild NYK, exactly. Bridges doesn't fit with Brunson. Okay. Curtis DeYoung, 3350, more time with the bench players so that he's not competing for shots with Cat, Brunson, and OG. Sherman, I am hearing nonsense. Okay. All right. Bridges is a good cutter, but we don't cut enough. All right. Bridges comes alive with the second unit. Okay. All right. Sherman, Cat is listed at 7, standing next to Mitch. He looks at least 4 inches shorter. He's not 7 feet. Just like you told us, Sherwin, if we want to know the measurables on a player, go to the NBA Combine and see what they say. So what does the NBA Combine says about Cat? All right. All righty. We have seemed to have gone through it all. The Knicks play the Pacers tomorrow. Oh, the last question was about Tatum. How much of his return changes things in the Eastern Conference? Do you think his return makes it tougher for the Knicks to get out of the Eastern Conference?
If we run into them, yeah, of course.
He didn't go to the NBA Combine. Okay.
But he's not. I'm because I have that game in front. He's not playing tonight though. I don't see him at all. Let me see.
No, he's out tonight, but just in general.
Yeah, of course. I mean, yeah, Boston is bad. He's a great player, man. Yeah, if he's in the lineup, yeah, that makes Boston hard, a tougher team, a tougher out in the playoffs. Of course.
I think so too.
Yeah. I think you're muted.
You're muted.
I'm a natural Boston hater, so no. I think he's about 75% of himself, which I think 75% of himself is really still a good player. But I don't think he's the same guy as he was last year or the year before. Not right now. I think he will be as far as coming back next year. He'll look like more of who he actually is. But I don't think he has that same strength, that same push, that same spring. And from what I watched the game, to me right now, it doesn't look like it. Of course, he's going to be rusty being off 10 months. So there's that to knock the rust off. And I just don't think he has the strength in it right now. But come next year, he can stay healthy, problem.
But even at 70%, Brunson, to me, Boston is already a formidable team.
Oh my God.
And if you add him even at 70%, I just don't. Listen, I'm not saying the Knicks can't beat Boston. I'm just saying Boston has been a pretty consistent team through the year. Now, does adding Tatum interrupt their chemistry some? Maybe, hopefully. But I think Boston is a tougher team with Tatum, even at 70%. I'm not saying the Knicks can't beat them. I just think it's a tougher. It's going to be a little tougher to do so.
I think they're missing the talent depth too, though. As opposed to what we're used to seeing them with. They had a lot of deep talent. I don't think they still have that same to me. When I watch them, they don't have that same talent.
They don't have the same talent, but the players they do have are performing. Now, it's possible in the playoffs those same players don't perform, and that would definitely bode well for us. But that team on paper, I picked them as number 10 in the preseason when we were ranking the Eastern Conference team. I picked them 10th. In order for them to be 2, and if Detroit, who was on a little skid, I don't know where they are now, but I know they had lost 4 in a row, they may finish 1st or 2nd. And what that tells me is that some players that they weren't counting on has showed up big for them in order for them to be in this position. And I think the question is whether or not they will continue to show up big. I would say this about the Knicks. The Knicks have talent, but do we like who's the talent? Like, we're sitting here already complaining about Mikal Bridges. We're sitting here right now complaining about Mikal Bridges. You know,
Facts.
Cat just now getting his groove. Brunson is not in his groove. So talent is one thing, but in the playoffs, it's about performance. It's about performing. So if those non-talented guys perform in the playoffs the way they're performing now, and our talented guys don't, the Knicks are going home. The Knicks are going home. You know? Okay. The X Productions 90. I'm not worried about Tatum so much. He just better get, what is that? 15 or on my
On my
parlays.
parlays, gambling.
Break forever. That's what I've been saying. Oh, I hear you. I hear you. Brunson, Cat, OG, Mitch. Okay. All right. Sherwin feels Boston has better team talent.
I just think they got a
Okay.
better coach. I think they have a much better coach.
Yeah. They keeping Tatum and White from Lou Dort tonight for safety reasons. Oh God! Any plans for a playoff watch party, whether in person or online? No, I think we will have an in person watch party. You just got to figure out where it's going to be.
Elmont? Yo, that spot was good, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Elmont or Valley Stream?
No, was
Valley,
it Elm? Was it? It was Valley Stream. I thought it was
Valley. I didn't go, but I thought it was Valley Stream.
I think it's Valley
I used to
Stream.
live in I used to live
Valley
in
Stream.
Elmont, so I thought I would. Yeah, I think it was
Valley Stream. Valley Stream.
Mm-hmm.
That would be a nice watch party.
Yeah, but it's not as convenient as in the city, though. Like,
well, the city's not convenient for me, but I'll make it work.
Well, the city. I mean, because Queen, because you want to drive.
But even if I'm not driving
on the railroad,
even if I'm not driving from Canarsie to the city, that's a bus to a train. You know, it's still a train.
Right. Drive to the L, take the L, and
I was on 86 and J. Wow.
Okay. Break forever. Boston might win the number 1 seed the way Detroit is playing. Yeah, Boston might win the number 1 seed. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, Detroit won tonight. They won the last 2 games. No, of course, they played the Nets and the Philly. Man, Boston is balling, man. Listen, they giving OKC, like, they leading OKC by 3, but that's a tough game going on right now.
Yeah. Boston giving OKC. See, this is the thing. There's talent, and then there's that where the sum is greater with what? The total is greater than the sum of its parts. Like, you get a team that's rolling and the chemistry is good and everybody knows their role and they're fine-tuned. And you have another team that's talented, turning the ball over and not playing up to their ceiling.
Well,
we'll see.
I mean, Boston has no Tatum, but you got to also point out that OKC, there's no J-Dub, no Isaiah Hartenstein not playing.
Yeah.
So they both, both teams are missing key players.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What's more important is to win all the games that's on the schedule for the Knicks so that we get a good seed. Cool Breeze had a question for us. I think it's an off-season question, but if you guys want to tackle it. No talent with hard work beats talent without hard work. Absolutely. Let's see. He had a question about Mitch being signed. Here it is. Do we re-sign Mitch? And if we do, does he get the max? Wow. Off-season question. I think.
What do you mean by max? Max of what he can be extended to? Mm-hmm. Oof. I think if we keep Mitch, if we move 1 or 2 of our starters, one of them's got to get moved for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just say it, Nick Nation.
No, I'm not gonna.
Mikal Bridges gonna get moved.
I'm not gonna point that. I'm not gonna
It might
point
not
out
be
as much as
Mikal.
every situation.
It might not be.
It
Because
might not. Might be hard.
it might be hard. It might even be OG. I mean, the Knicks may say we're not going to let OG get in the way of a Giannis trade. You know, we don't know. I will say this: the Knicks better not go into the second apron next year. Whatever you figure out who your core is, sign them. Do not go over the second apron. Do not lock yourself into a roster that you're not sure is a championship contending team. Now, if we win it and you want to lock yourself in to run it back, I'm all for it. If we don't win it, do not lock yourself in. Figure out, make the tough decisions. If you have to not sign guys, if you have to trade guys, figure out who your core is. You're going to have to do it like the New England Patriots, Golden State Warriors. You figure out who your core is, and all the players around, they're going to have to rotate due to the financial constraints.
Yeah. I'll ask you guys, are you guys comfortable with paying Mikal, what is it, $36 million a year for what we're getting now?
No. I think
not
we
anymore.
Pretty much, both Queen and I, we pretty much said simply because, and again, it's not like he's not a good player, but what he's given, you can get for half that money.
Yeah, but then but moving him, what do you think we would get for him at this stage? That's the real question.
Another team, there's going to be some team out there that really, really like his game that's going to take him off our hands.
And who may feel that the reason they didn't get the best out of him was because he was playing out. Some teams can reason, they didn't get the best out of him because he was playing with Cat and OG or whatever. In our system, he'll be the number 2. He'll, whatever they do. But I think everybody is going to be up for consideration, particularly if the Knicks lose in the second round. Mm-hmm. This team will be reconfigured. All right. All right. Yeah. A-Train said, move who you gotta. All right.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Sherwin is more comfortable playing Bridges $35 million instead of paying Cat $60 million. Okay. 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 Any last words?
Yo, hit the like button before you go out or on the way out.
Yes, please. Like, subscribe, and share, please.
Yeah, definitely. The Knicks play Friday, so I'll be back Saturday for the recap show. I missed the last 2 days. I just didn't have it. Last 2 games, I should say. But I should be back Saturday for it. Whoever wants to join me. I think Geoff will still be out. Geoff is going to be out for about a week.
What time are you trying to come
on? Saturday will probably be 10.
Okay.
Keep Geoff in your thoughts and prayers, or if you meditate like I do, your loving kindness meditation, whatever you do. His mother passed a few months ago, and they're doing the first of 2 memorials. I think it's this weekend. So keep him in your thoughts and prayers.
We're about to go on we're about to go on a at least 6 game winning streak here.
Okay.
Oh, maybe 7 game. Oh, we're about to win the next 7.
Okay. All right. Not the way we played against Utah. Not the way we played against Utah in the first 3 quarters.
I said that at the Denver game. Well, look what happened.
This is how I have to get to the city for watch parties, X-Production. I had a girlfriend in Elmont when I lived in the Bronx. When I was like 19, I took 2 trains, a bus, and a car. Yeah, that's how I got to get to the Garden. Something like that.
Gals rhymes with cows. That's when I moved there. They had this store called Gals. Yeah.
Okay. Nobody here is giving Mitch $100 million. Is that the max? $100 million? Wow.
No, I don't think he can. I don't think that's how that works, right? I thought you.
I don't know what his max
It's
is.
it's a max percentage from what he makes now. There's a set amount which I believe he could go up to.
The over under on how many points Macau's gonna score on Friday.
You're A-Train, man. A-Train.
15.
I'm gonna say
I got it.
no,
15. He gonna score.
I'm going
Go ahead.
9. I'm going
Wow.
9. I'm
I,
going 9.
I don't know. I don't know. He hitting. Yeah. I say 7.
Wow. Macau.
He did have a
15
goose egg.
points.
So.
For 15 points, Macau. They out here trying to punk you because you having a few bad games. 15.
A few. Like 35 bad games, maybe.
Scoring games, because he does do other things. We do want to acknowledge that. He does do other things that help
That's why I
us
say
win.
numbers are funny. And numbers are
us
funny
win.
too, because if you look at his average, you know what I mean? But if you watch the game, the eye test tells you something totally different from what it was.
Yeah. On the scoring end, right? I mean, do
Yeah.
you guys think that he's struggling on the other aspects of the game?
Well, handle at times. He struggles with that. Turnovers. He struggles with that.
Nobody's turning the ball over like Brunson of late.
True. He struggles, he struggles with physicality. I got a list. Forget it. I'm not gonna go that far. Yeah. People might say out there that I don't like him or something.
Yeah. I think he's solid. I think I've Geoff is behind the scenes. Geoff has kind of calmed me down and just to help me to see who he is and to not expect him to be more than that. I think that's where my frustrations with not this. I'm not talking about this. Because this is not acceptable in my opinion. But I was expecting him to be that guy when Brunson couldn't go or was injured, that he would be the guy to step up, and that's just not Bridges. He's he's just a smooth player. He likes to contribute in every category, and if shot comes his way, he'll take it. That's who he is.
No fault of his own, but he's always going to be judged for those. People can say F those 5 picks, but he's always going to be judged on that, regardless or not. There's nothing you can do about it. It just is what it is.
Bada bing! A-Train is on it tonight. See what Bam did? We need a Wizards game right now to help Bridges out.
Get him right. That'll get him right.
Oh,
that's the get right game. I don't think we have one coming. Oh no, we do. We play them
we play
at the end of the month, right? We play them. Let me see. Oh, wait, let me check my schedule here. Oh, we play them on the 22nd, Sunday.
Appreciate you, Cool Breeze 718.
Next week Sunday.
Mitch's max would be 4 years, 85 to 87 million. Okay. Okay. Randu, we appreciate you. All right. Salute to the chat. We appreciate you. Salute to the replay gang. Appreciate you as well. Silent listeners, you already know we don't see you, we don't hear you, but we know you out there, and we appreciate it. Knick Nation, I appreciate you. Thank you for joining the family and for leveling up the show. I really appreciate you. Ajay,
appreciate you.
From almost the beginning, I appreciate you. As well.
Appreciate being here, Queen.
Yeah, for sure.
But listen, the real quick, the replay gang, man. We really, really appreciate your comments when you leave comments.
Yeah.
And it's actually I kind of like it a little bit better because see this when we doing the show live, like these comments are flying off the shelves, but it sits there, on the replay, and you take your time to, do a little bit of back and forth, a little bit of, you're a hater, nah, you're a hater, like a little bit of that little kind of love going on over there. So yeah, we
do really appreciate the replay game. Yeah, I will get to that. I'm a little behind, not too much though, but I am a little behind, so I'll get to that this weekend. We do appreciate you as well, and I don't just read them. When I do get over there, I try to comment on every single one that I read. It's just getting over there more consistently, but I do appreciate you guys.
Yep,
for sure.
All right,
family. Until next time.
Peace.
Sister, you're one of a kind.
Yes.
Oh, sister, it's time you
That's her.
shine.